Okay, I had just completed the Mass Effect Trilogy. Got these games on eBay early 2018 after I seen a friend talk about how good they are on Facebook. I didn't start playing them until December of 2018. Well, seriously, I dabbled in the first one a little, liked it, but just never finished it because I started around the same time I got my Xbox One. And grinding in F13 and Dead by Daylight took a lot of time. But after getting to play these, this is one of the greatest science fiction stories ever made. And for games like this, the number one thing it has to do to draw me in is make me care about the characters. The main character, Shepard, the player has so much control over. Whether he's a man or a woman, how he acts. I try to be the paradigm as much as possible. Although every now and then, admittedly, it's fun to take a rogue stance. Like when Thane gets killed in part 3, I showed his killer no quarter. And the characters are so phenomenal. My two favorites, and they're the two that follow Shepard through the three games, are Garrus Vakarian and Tali Zora. A Quarian and a Taurian. Garrus is the Taurian. His race, pretty much, his people are either in military service or serve as law enforcement. Tali is a Quarian. Her people are nomadic. They lost their planet to a cybernetic race they created called the Geth, and as a result of living in the sterile environment of a ship for centuries, they have to live inside these environmental suits because they have no immune system. And that being said, without a character, this character is shockingly expressive for someone who we never see her face. And they're the two most loyal friends Shepard has on his journey. They're the only two characters that fight by his side in all three games. The story is about Shepard gets exposed to this beacon from a lost race called the Protheans and receives an ominous vision that a race called the Reavers are coming to destroy the galaxy. The Reavers think the Borg if each individual Borg was a Borg cube to itself. And they're every bit as hard to destroy as the Borg cubes. Shepard ultimately gets inducted into what's called the Spectres. The humans have moved up in the galactic community to where the council appoints him the first ever human Spectre. A Spectre is basically a police officer that has full jurisdiction to go anywhere and do anything. They're completely untouchable, and there's another Spectre he's after in the first game named Saren, who's fallen in line with the Reavers. He has to dig up dirt on Saren to prove it to the Council, and with the characters he meets along the way, he gets that help. Ergnon Rax, who's a Krogan. The Krogan are kind of like the Klingons, and Rex is a great character. He's so much fun. Garrus, who works for CSEC and is a police officer, he joins Shepard as well, and it comes to where they have to rescue Tali, who actually has some dirt on Saren that they take to the council. And Shepard becomes the Spectre, and they go after them, and Shepard starts assembling this ragtag team, not just humans, aliens, anyone good for the job that's willing to help him. Along the way, he gets joined by an Asari Liara, who, the Asari, they're kind of like elves, and a few other characters, and at one point you have to make a major life or death decision on a planet. Two of your squad members, Ashley and Malenko, are at two different points, and you have to choose which one to save. You nuke this base because it has a cloning facility you can't let the Reaver get a hold of. And because of that, I chose to let Malenko die because I put him in charge of the bomb, and that took precedent. You beat the game with an all at when Saren and the Reaver make an all-out attack on the Citadel, and again, another choice that affects future games. I chose to save the Council. At the end, Anderson gets promoted as first human council member. The second one begins with Shepard dying, gets resurrected by Cerberus, and sent on an ultimate suicide mission to save the galaxy. Along the way, he meets new characters, and Tali and Garrus join his party. Again, big difference with Tali in this one. She is a possible love option for Commander Shepard. And that's the path I went, and it's a great story. And no matter how you do it, you see that these three characters form, by the third game, such an incredibly touching bond. They've been through more together than any of the other characters. They've had their back more than any of the other characters. And there's by the third game, there are some truly emotional, tear-jerking moments between them. And the whole game in 2 is about the humans being harvested by the collectors, who are part of the Reavers, and you have to investigate and ready yourself to go through the Omega Relay to assault the collectors directly, and it's a suicide mission. And again, the character development is stellar at times. Like when you first go to recruit a character called Archangel, who turns out to be Garrus, Shepard is so overjoyed because it's one of his old squad mates. He's face to face with someone he calls a true friend, and at this moment, one of the few people he knows he can trust, because he died. He was gone for 2 years, and he's being forced to work for a terrorist organization called Cerberus, who only cares about human interest. And Shepard gets an old comrade back that, again, he knows that he can place his life in Garrus's hands. Along the way, you meet other great characters like Thane, I can't think of her name now, but the Asari Justiguard, and a few others. And Morden also, I love Morden, the Solarian homicidal doctor. He's got some great hilarious dialogue, and Grunt, the tank-bred Krogan. The Krogan, like I said, like Klingons, they had a disease put on them called the Genophage because they were breeding out of control. And this game deals with a lot of morality of that, because in the third game, you get the option to cure the Genophage or sabotage the cure. So, again, great writing, and Grunt is one of my favorite characters in the game. My favorite characters are, of course, Shepard, Tali, Garrus, and I gotta put Grunt and Rex, tied, because they're just that great. Well, I'm gonna cut it here and go into part 2. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.